republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We have the approval of the April 19th, 2021 regular meeting minutes.
I reviewed those, Chairman. I'll make a motion to approve this presented.
Read it this morning, and I shall second. I have a motion and a second on approval of minutes. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Motion passed. We've all reviewed claims, so I would entertain a motion concerning claims. Steve, however you want to do it.
Yeah, make a motion to approve all claims as presented. They do match. I would like to have someone to double check me. And I already signed them, so just grab those up.
I will second. Okay. Okay, so we have a motion and a second to approve all claims. All in favor of that motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. Okay, so we are ready now for Area Plan Executive Director Cameron Hayes. Good morning, Cameron.
Good morning, gentlemen. So I put a job description in your guys' mailbox. You got it? Okay. So a little history on this. As you guys know, the area plan office did not have a full-time staff until the start of 2019. Moving that to full-time. We now know everything that comes together when there's a staff person there 8 hours a day. So we did our homework, put everything together, trying to get a fair wage, a fair job description for what really happens in that seat. So I think we have that nailed down now after several weeks of homework and reaching out to Irwin and the help of the auditor's office. With that said, the board approved a title, I think it was last year, they approved that it was called assistant director. They approved the job description with that title. A few board members approached me and said, didn't really want to say a whole lot about it, but we like that job description, we just don't like that title. We went back to the drawing boards, got a few options, put out the one that I presented to you guys, which is the exact same job description, but now has the office administrator. And that's through the guidance of Irwin, the company that we use. That kind of fits the daily role of what that position does. So we finally have the job position and the job the description and the title to fit what we like, and they approved it last Tuesday at the APC meeting. You know, until this weekend, I was kind of on the edge of, I didn't want to really go full bore with this until 2022. This weekend, I thought about it real hard, and it bothered me, because, and if that's still something we have to do, I'm okay with that, but I don't think it would be fair to me, to my staff, that I didn't go to work for her getting something after we've had two other officers come through and do their due diligence. So I'm asking today for the approval of the new position title that was already approved with the job description. And then I'm asking for guidance on that as far as, we have the money in our budget to get this position going, if it was June 1st or whenever. We have the money to transfer the funds and get this position where we would like it to be today. So I'm asking for your approval on the job description itself, and then some guidance for the next part of the process.
Okay, let's take care of the first part first. Approval of the title of office administrator.
That's the only thing that changed too, so I don't.
What's that?
That's the only thing that's really changed, was just the
Well, I mean, from the current one is administrative assistant.
assistant.
And, you know, going into this, we didn't know what an 8-hour day would, take
Right.
in that office, so
They
it's,
never had it before.
it's, yeah, and we've learned now that it's basically nonstop from, you know, if it's not answering phone calls, if it's a rezone or a variance or a property split or an address, the amount of stuff that comes to this office is, there's quite a bit, so, you know, we didn't know what all was entailed with this being a full-time position, so we're going step by step, we're learning, but we're not trying to come full bore going, hey, we wanna just come blasting through and asking for money and all that, we're just trying to get it to be a fair wage for what she does on a daily basis, so, you know, that's where we're at now. I think we got a good start with the job description itself, and then the title that matches it through the help of the auditor's office and everyone, so it matches up pretty good.
I can imagine that very few of your phone calls that she's taken would be a 30-second phone call.
And they're not, yeah, not all of them are friendly either. I mean, there's people that call that are unhappy about, especially this time of year, the weeds are showing, the property, the cars are, you know, people are getting outside, it's not cold no more. So a lot of it's complaint, but there's a lot of questions every single day. But I would say we should probably start tracking phone calls, but it's nonstop. So, I mean, I'm not saying we're just 100 mile an hour working, you know, but that office is busy, from about February to the end of construction, and then we go into, trying to get everything caught up in the books and getting it logged in the drives and all that, so it's, you know, we're learning, that's not something we've had in the past as a full-time position, so it's a neat thing that we now have that staff there that's there all day for people to come into the courthouse, so we're just trying to get it to where, you know, it's a comfortable salary with that position, so.
I'll make a motion to approve the job description.
Okay, so I have a motion and second to approve the entire job description as presented, including the title of office administrator. Okay, all in favor of that motion, please say aye. Aye.
Your next step would be council, because they have to approve it. And that, they don't meet what, self-employed?
So do they approve the position as well, or just the salary that goes with the position? I've been told.
They have to approve the job description and.
Okay, so
the salary.
now they get the whole package.
Right.
Okay. So I just.
I look for you coming in next year with a part-time, one of these two.
Actually, while I'm up here, if you have a second,
I look for you to come.
and I'm not gonna go into a whole lot of it now, but we've had a couple phone calls this year, actually several phone calls about property stuff. And property complaints,
Yep.
we've already this year probably had, and I'm not exaggerating, probably at least 50. The tricky part of it, yeah, Steve's been at least 5 of them. The tricky part of that is, when I go out and do my inspections and all that, I try to incorporate those into my route, if I can, I'll route things where I can drive by, at least look at it. You know, I can send them letters and ask them, you know, please clean up your property, or do this, that, and a lot of them are compliant, and I try to approach them as, look, I'm not coming at you to threaten you, or I'm just asking you to please clean up your property. And a lot of them do comply, but you'll have the one to say, you know, this is my property, I'll do what I want. So at the end of the day, we've went through this before, every county has it, every city has it. If down the road, we could get some kind of part-time compliance officer, compliance position, that basically it maybe started out part-time and went full-time, because on a daily basis, this county could, you could drive this county in an hour, you'd be shocked if that's what you did for a full week. So, and you guys know that. So just something to think about. We're gonna be approaching you down the road with this because of the phone calls we get. So, but for today, thank you for this, I appreciate it, and I know, my office appreciates it, so.
That property you called me about, did you get that taken care
Nope.
of?
It did get tagged, the vehicle got tagged. I don't know that they don't know that that's not their property.
Right.
I mean, it's been that property for so many years that, they probably don't know, but you still, either way, whether it's your property or not, just can't go dump stuff out there. Couches, trash, open bags of trash, and all that. When it's blowing down streets and people's property,
Did Mr. Doolan or Mr. Collins come out?
the sheriff's department helped me out with that, got it tagged, and we'll see if we can get it removed, then we'll go on to the next step of the open trash that's blowing
Yeah,
down.
because it's illegal dumping, so.
It is.
That would be DNR.
And it's blowing all down Washington Street, so there's really no denying it, but it's just one of those where, we'll just put that one on the list, there's no second one, so. Yeah. Okay,
Thanks,
Will
Cameron.
you be available, after the meeting today?
I will, I'll be in the office all day today.
All right.
Yep.
I'll come down and see you.
Okay, very good.
I wanted to suggest something. If you're trying to make a new position for next year, you might want to start on your job description now, because if you're going to ask for it in a budget, they will not, there's no job. They're not going to fund it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, I mean, we got some more to do, I don't wanna just throw it out there and
Because
not be
they
prepared, so.
create the jobs and then they fund them.
Okay, all right, okay, thank you guys, I appreciate it.
Thank you. Anita, what? Anita here? We have a request from the American Legion, this is what Anita was about. Request from the American Legion Auxiliary for a May 14th and May 15th, this is a Friday and Saturday, coffee distribution.
She wanted to talk to you about banners.
Do you recall?
Yeah,
Talk to her about what?
the banner that they were going to use, so
Oh, okay.
that's what she told me. That's why I gave her a spot.
Maybe we should jump on ahead to custodian Keith Freeman then and see if she'll. Hi Keith. How are you?
Morning, gentlemen. How's everybody today?
Good.
Good. Wanted to go back over utility shed options for the courthouse. Material fluctuations and stuff like that, some of the prices have changed. And some of the information I haven't found out has changed as well. Like with Little Pond, in their estimate, it's $58.79 and 65 cents. This shed here does not include any OSB boards on the inside. It's just steel with your beams. 2 double doors and half of the floor being heavily duty treated for the equipment that's used during the winter time that collect moisture and everything else like that, so it's protected. Oak Lane, first estimate they sent me was the $10,665.76. That is OSB on the inside, metal outside, that is heavy duty floors, aluminum ramp, 72-inch, double panel doors on the front side, which was kinda high, 7-foot walls. And then on the last estimate, I questioned if there was anything that we could do to lower that cost overall. And so with the 60-inch double doors, no SB on the inside, vented rich cap, come out to $86.58.42. But they also included what it would take to level and all the materials for that as well. So gravel base, the 4x4 set in dirt, lined, making it flush with concrete, $21.76. Which seems a lot higher when you're looking at it, but when I did a lot of more review and asking a lot more questions, the structure of the Oak Lane and what they're also offering for leveling it off, the materials to get that leveled off is a lot better than what Little Fawn. Because Little Fawn does not include the gravel and the extra dirt, framing it in so that way you can make it level with the existing concrete and everything else.
They'd probably just come in and just use blocks.
Yep. Yeah.
But also see they got tax on there, almost $600 and they'll pay that.
Correct.
Where do you see the change?
On Oak Lane, so that would lower it tremendously as well. And it's a one-stop shop with Oak Lane, where the building material, the structure of these, sheds are a lot better. And if it's just for the OSB on the inside, I'm sure that if materials should drop, whatever else, it'd be easy to tack those up on, you know what I mean?
Do you really need it on the inside?
No, honestly, no.
Not to say that make a big, cause you're not gonna insulate it.
Right.
You're gonna heat it. So there's another big savings right there.
Yep.
The only thing is, if you want to, cast steel, it's really not so.
Oh, yeah. Well, the current one,
USB, and then on the outside of the two eyes, and attach steel to that.
yeah, that's, no, it'd just be straight steel, no OSB on the outside. Yeah.
Something to protect that.
Yeah.
You're gonna get it,
Correct.
I think you're doing it 4 feet up, you're gonna bump it by the bottom,
Yeah, correct, yeah.
I think.
But what was questioned in the last meeting, the funding. The only way that out of my funds, I could afford it, is if I was able to pull from the maintenance fund and some of it out of the utilities. Yeah, combination out of utilities and the maintenance fund to be able to support it. I didn't know if, the community capital improvement fund was available for something like this for the utility shed. Otherwise, for me to be able to afford this, I'd have to pull from 2 different accounts.
Who's got who accounts for that?
I would recommend you, maybe lumber will change in like 6 months and put it in your budget for next year. And have it installed first of next year.
Okay. I can do that.
I think that would be best. I mean, we're surviving. I know you got stuff scattered everywhere for now. But I think that would be the best to put in the budget for next year. Then if they deny it, we'll figure out how to get the money to it.
But you're gonna have to possibly adjust for the cost, because the materials can go up and.
Right, I'm hoping they're dropping, but I mean, just from a month from when we started doing these, the price went up to over $1,000, so, I mean,
Be aware of that, so.
yeah. Okay, we'll do,
And I kinda like the old claim, because it's
yeah,
very,
I wouldn't even look at all of them, they're stout, very stout. great day.
Oh, Keith,
Is there,
Steve did talk to you about
yes,
checking into the elevator.
already did, and he's gonna send it over here shortly.
Wow.
Already did it, what?
I already made a phone call to get that cost, of what it costs now.
It can be done, though?
Yes. It'd be a key switch.
Sounds good.
It'd be a key switch.
For the benefit of people out there, we're talking about the elevator right now, there's no way to, limit access to the basement. And, this is a real security problem. Somebody could get down in there and you wouldn't know it. If somebody's bent on making trouble, it'd be a good way to do it. So if we can, Steve mentioned that at Purdue, you have to have a code to go to the basement areas. That'd be good here, because the basement is just storage for the different offices, there's no, other than to meet with you, there's no reason to go down there.
EMA on the other side, right?
What was that?
EMA on the other side,
Looking out.
Yeah.
That's right, yep.
that's it. Yep, so I'll have that for you guys here.
Thank you, I
Welcome.
appreciate that. Yes, Ms. Markman is here.
Yes,
Good
please
morning.
forgive me for being a little late.
Well,
I
it's
got
tough,
too busy
but we'll
working.
try.
Want to say good morning to you all. And I am, representative of the American Legion Auxiliary. I'm chaplain. And of course, everybody knows last year we did nothing for Poppy Days. We didn't do hardly anything for anything. This year, we would like to plan a day and a half. Friday, May 14th, from 9 to 3, and Saturday, from 9 to 1, on May 15th. And we'd like to set up at the gazebo, use the gazebo, though we won't have to use the courthouse for any reason at all. We have talked about obtaining a banner to put it in the yard out here, but that's not a definite thing yet. We just met last week trying to talk about this, so the banner is still up in the air, but, I'd like permission to use both of those. We plan to have, pictures. We're gonna have a lady with she's painted a poppy, and if anybody wants their picture in the poppy, they can have that. We're gonna have a few games for the children, if they show up, and prizes for them. Basically, that's it. We just want the use of the gazebo for those 2 days.
I'll make a motion to approve our request.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve this request. All in favor, please say aye.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Have a great day.
Then you'll file your certificate of insurance, right?
Yes, Gary, my insurance, I went to Gary as soon as I realized I had to have insurance, and he had to get with his, representative, and he hadn't got back with me yet, but he will.
We can just email it to them if you need to.
Okay, all right, okay.
As far as the banner,
Mm-hmm.
we've run into some problems out here with driving posts in because there's so much underground electrical and stuff out here
Okay,
that it's real easy to hit something. So, if it could be hung on the gazebo or something like that, I
Okay.
think that'd be better than pounding posts.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
If you have another idea, let me know, but.
if there would be such a thing that we wouldn't have to put it in the ground, like, hold it down with sandbags or something, that would be all right. Okay,
You need to make like a T-post, and where they can temporary set up there, and sitting on blocks, 2x4.
we'll work on that.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, Ken, we're ready for you. Ken Schumacher, our county highway engineer.
Good morning.
Good morning.
A couple things for you. First, I want to update you on our 2021 chip and seal list. Did you get a copy
Yeah.
of that?
Email it to me.
Yeah, we're doing about 62 miles, a little over 62 miles this year, a single and double layer chip and seal. And we've listed the roads that, and how much mileage for each will be doing. And I did a quick cost and estimate for doing a chip and seal. So for a single layer, per mile, we're approximately $7,300 per mile.
How much?
7,300. If we do it,
7,300 for a single layer.
yeah, if we do a double layer, it can go up to 15,100. It really depends on how much, oil we're using to spray down on the road. So that's low and high for those two.
We had a young lady here who was wanting to look at her area chip and seal.
Is that
Just
a
outside.
winery?
Outside of Flora.
That outside of Florida?
150 north,
Yes, that's it.
Oh,
that's mine.
Maybe it's just north of Flora, wasn't it? That little-
yeah, it's out there by the old Carroll School.
Actually, it's used 18 version, we got less than, used the west,
So is it 150 north of 18?
There's like, what, 3 or 4 houses there?
I think there's 2 houses on that stretch.
I know we're doing a section of 150 north, but it's from 625 east to 029. I'm not sure that I have it. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the highways, well, that's 700.
It's 700 each.
It looks like you might have hit it.
This is gravel, so, I mean, it says it's already gravel.
So we got, we went out and traveled the roads and we made up our own list, and we also took in what people told us about, and we looked at those, and then we compared them to our favorite rating, analysis that we do for NDOT to determine if there were anything on it, that was in more need of repair than that one. So the list we came up with is attached.
Keith, one other thing that I want to comment on is that as I went through this, your map, I don't know, could we put it up on there, Beth? I appreciate how that it is pretty even all over the county. Some, it's not,
Just in certain areas.
yeah, it's not one area is gonna get everything, and everybody else is just too bad. Looks like we're doing a very adequate job of fixing.
Yeah, I we told our guys, we wanna spread this out as much as we can, so.
The ones that are yellow or double air, okay, and the blue ones are single air.
Correct.
And then you got something about gravel road, is that just all you move gravel in, or what?
No, that'll be, chip sealing and gravel road.
Chip sealing over the gravel.
Yeah. So it'll become a paved
That's the
road.
one that you're talking about, both of you guys, are right here, 450 over there. That seem right?
Yeah.
150, I couldn't read that.
That's off this one.
150.
We got 925 more. 925 more.
Yeah. I can't remember what that is. This is north of,
Yeah, it's north of.
right up there on
Chester,
County.
almost close to Cat Arctic, 4 miles south of Fremont.
Well, I've written that. Anyway, it looks real good.
Thank you.
When will we start on this?
We'll be starting probably next week. Weather permitting. We're all ready. We've gotten all the gravel roads, graded, so we're ready to start, chip sealing.
Went a couple meetings back for the gentleman who was unhappy with his road, and you and I went out, that day or the next day, looked at it,
South,
it was 800 south.
I think so, yeah.
Did we get that graded?
It was graded, yes.
Okay,
next item I have is a copy of our annual report to NDOT from the Highway Department. Financial reports, so if there are any questions on those, I can go over those.
Did you guys change those figures that this was?
I thought she didn't put in a transfer request.
Okay, so she didn't.
I'm not sure, I thought
No,
you.
that's what I want, is make sure she didn't change it.
Oh, at this point, no, she hasn't.
Because it has to match what we turned in.
Okay.
The county's annual report and this one have to coincide, check the
Right.
state. So if you transfer it now.
Okay.
So we need to sign this, right, of course.
Correct, on the last sheet.
Trying to get off of it.
I'm glad you remembered, because Chelsea said, please make sure they didn't sign it.
Do you have a copy of this for the paper?
I gave her.
I got one.
And I have extra copies.
There's one sign.
All right, well, I need a motion.
Motion to approve the annual operation report for local roads and streets and bridges.
In a second. Okay, so I've got a motion and a second for the operational report of local roads and streets and bridges. All in favor of that, please say aye. Aye. Motion passed.
Do we need to do the kitchen bill too? So it's on record. I have no idea.
Yeah, we'll sign it too. Don't raise anything shortages everywhere.
Do the rest of mine, I think that's all we do.
Yeah.
So back to your chip and seal, I seen, 500 north, 250 west, Old State Road 25. Do we even fire that? Cause I don't think we ever put any of the old 25s on our,
Yeah, the old 25 is still NDOT, so I'll double check that. No, that's 500 north from 250 west, two old 25.
okay.
In fact, I'm going on a field check with NDOT this week on paving projects that they've got going on Old 25, so I'll have a report probably next time for that.
And that one outside of Delphi past the sewage plants and everything, that pond on the right side, that's gonna be an issue. You know what I'm talking about? Right there at 132
Not
north.
offhand.
132 north. Yeah, that pond is filled up and the water's running the opposite direction because they raised their dam up. So it's starting to, it's even gonna be in that little park there on the bridge before we know it. I don't know.
Our park,
Yeah.
city park.
The city park. But it'll be our issue sooner or later.
Right, where is that?
Old 25 out past Dairy Queen. Like you go in the back way of the Heartland.
Yeah.
There's a pond on the right side. And it's, I noticed they built up their dam and the water's actually supposed to go, what direction would that be? West, northwest? It's supposed, it's the way it's supposed to go, but now it's starting to go backwards. Yeah.
And for your information there on that, if you haven't been through the wars with us here for very long, we have, never been able to get the state to sit down with us and really discuss the relinquishment of these.
I imagine, they're waiting to do their projects that they have planned on before they talk to us normally, before we would accept it, we would want them to bring it up to current standards or give us money for it, so.
And there was some discussion about that bridge that's right up, sort of the Deer Creek is on that, section, south of Deer Creek. That there may be some work that needs to be done on that bridge, and we certainly don't wanna take on a bridge, since we're gonna have to spend a lot of money on
I
it.
agree with that.
Okay. Well, so you know that, so you can kind of keep an eye on it for us. Anything else, Keith?
I do have one other thing for you, just wanted to update you. If I can find my notes on that. Community crossings, we were notified that we were awarded funding that we applied for, being by January of this year. And we were awarded $983,985.75. That's the amount that we requested.
Can you say that one more time?
983, 985.75.
I was worried about that 75.
Yeah.
I was worried.
Well, we have to match that, so.
Now,
Every cent counts,
what is the portion of that that we must come up with out of our own?
the same amount. So it'll, that's 50% of the project costs of paving. And I don't have that list of what roads we're paving yet.
Could you bring that to us
I
next
can,
meeting?
yeah,
We'd like to see that.
okay.
How's it going with your staffing? I read something that you've lost some people.
Yeah, we were down 6 people, 6 drivers. We hired one, we're interviewing him. So I've got an interview at noon today, so we're, as we can, we're interviewing.
And you're doing the drug testing for the, employee. Well, I seen it on the big social media page, so.
Oh.
He must have went in and cleaned house or
I don't
something.
see that.
When you get that report signed up by you, I need to have a copy.
Okay, all right. So if they've signed, I can sign them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you want those right now? There's 2 of them. Appreciate your work, Pete, so.
You had any issues that you need to bring to us, or?
Not at this point, no.
Okay. No, we didn't. Do we need to, Ted? Do we need to approve the chip and seal list?
Not necessary unless you wanna make a record of it.
I'm good with it. I didn't know if we have it. I couldn't remember. Have it?
I think, I really don't.
I'll make a motion to approve the chip and seal road list for 2021.
Motion and a second to approve the chip and seal road list. All in favor, please say aye. Exception to that, to your question. Well, then we'll move right on ahead here. We got, Chris, is it Soseby?
Pretty good, yeah, it's pretty close.
Not too bad, huh? Chris Monix in second grade and third grade both.
And fourth,
I'll come get it.
Gentlemen, I'm gonna start out, just briefly and comment from my end of it. I have learned a lot, as we all have, going through this new jail discussion. But more recently, Ymca construction was brought to my attention, and I guess what, several things came to mind as far as Ymca is concerned. And I've learned that they have been involved with 15 new jail construction projects in the state of Indiana since 2000. Currently, they are involved with 4 new county jail projects in Cass, Fulton. Cass is actually an addition. They're not building a new jail, but they're adding to their jail. But Fulton, Huntington, and Henry counties. I've had the opportunity to speak to all four of those sheriffs in those respective four counties, and they are very impressed with what Ymca brings to their project. So I want to have the opportunity to introduce Chris, and I think, as you may recall, his associate Chris is the boss. So Chris's associate Mike Miller was at our joint meeting and offered, I think, a lot of good, positive talk or response to questions at that meeting. So I wanted to bring Chris on board and have him present the opportunity to you gentlemen this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sheriff, I appreciate it. All right, I don't wanna be repetitive of what Mike might shared last week, but I wanted to run through a little bit of overview on our company real quick, and then maybe open it up for some Q&A, because I know you guys have been going down this road for a little while, and might have some questions. So, a little on our company, we do a little over $250 million a year in yearly revenues. We have over 350 employees, and the benefit of that 350 is about 80 in our two offices in Fort Wayne and South Bend. And then the remaining group is our field employees, which really is a huge difference between ourselves and a lot of other contractors. Not only do we manage projects, but we build them as well. We've been in business since 1906. We're fourth generation family owned. So we're not going anywhere. Celebrating 115 years this year. I mentioned on our tradesmen and women that are in the field, we self-perform concrete, carpentry, and masonry, and have field leaders that are located all throughout the state. But I've asked Don Hurst to join us. He's actually a constituent of yours. He lives here in the county, and he's one of our superintendents on site, one of our best ones. So hopefully he's smiling behind me. So.
Something about making faces.
Yeah, that's right. Don's a good one. We've also got field leaders, Bill Christensen and Amy Hillman in Cass County and Miami County, so a number of people around the area. We deliver projects to our owners using all four delivery methods. That goes back to that whole builder's method. But I think one of the important things to note is that in the last, we've been doing construction management grants for CMC since 1994. Primarily private, because of course it wasn't allowed in the state until 2017 outside of Purdue, IU, and Ball State. But in 17, it kicked back into municipal projects being allowed to be used in that delivery. And since then, we've got the Mishawaka City Hall, the Noble County Annex, and then schools for Warsaw, Goshen, Northwest Allen counties, Concord, and Northern Wells that equate to over $250 million underneath that delivery method. Some of those aren't going right now. So, and some of them are completed. Let's see, Sheriff Lazar, we talked about the four current jails in Henry, Huntington, Fulton, Cass, and I think on the handout there, you'll see that we've done 17, and 16 of those have been since 2000. For good or bad, I was the project manager on 2 of those. Now I'm in business development, so I don't know if that was a promotion or a sideways push, but on one of those jails, we've worked with 8 with Elevatus, so a little over half, or almost half. And prior, in another life, I worked with Greg when he was at a different firm, and he was my checks and balances. So he was the architect, and I was the project manager on one of the 2 that I ran. So the reason I share all this with you is I think we bring a lot of value from an experience standpoint. Building jails in the state of Indiana, you're dealing with a really tight-knit group of people. And the sheriff mentioned that he reached out to his peers. It only takes one bad one, and it runs around like water going downhill. So I think, we're really fortunate. We put really good field leaders in the place to be successful, and then we backed them up with really good resources on our end from the office standpoint. So with that, I wanted to touch a little bit more on some other local CMC jobs that aren't in the realm of correctional, but ones that you might know. Miami County Ymca, we're doing that project over in Peru. We do most of the work for Logansport Memorial Hospital, and we do it under that CMC delivery method, or CM at risk. We just finished, and Don did both of those projects, but the Cancer Institute and labor and delivery renovations on the 3rd floor, which just wrapped up less than a year ago then, Don.
Yeah, right at about a year ago.
And then in addition to that, over time, we've done an awful lot of work at Dukes and Peru as well with that same delivery method, both when they were owned by the county, and then since then they've been owned by CHS. One last note here, I think that one of the big benefits, and you guys will go down this road, it's my understanding you're gonna go that route, but pre-construction services, you know, getting a good foundation, getting a good base, getting that first budget set up is really important, and I think because we do the work, put work in place, and perform under all those different delivery methods, our pre-con department, is pretty strong, we've got 13 folks doing it, and one of the things that we're most proud of, would be the fact that when we give you design development budget, which is based off of DD drawings, I know you might go a little further than that now, is the fact that we're coming in at or below that number on bid day, and it's, most importantly, the percentage, right? People go, well, we saved $1 million, well, that means it's a bad budget. If I'm $1 million high, then it's not a good thing, right? Because I might have stripped out things that you wanted in your budget for that amount of money. So I think the biggest benefit on that pre-con side is when you can come in right on top of your budget or within a point or two.